When did you and LeBron start playing each other and start developing a friendship?
So LeBron is 1 year younger
you.
than me. So when I get to Oak Hill, Bron and them had beat Oak Hill the previous year. And I'm like, yo, I gotta play against him. Like, it's on the schedule, we gotta make it happen. I knew nothing, I ain't never seen him, none of that. Cause back then he was the pamphlets, right?
Man, we was talking about
you know what I'm
this
saying?
before.
Like,
there's no internet, you didn't know who the motherfucker was till you seen him in the gym.
It was Bob Gibbons' report, you know what I'm saying? So whoever was in that box in the middle,
that's crazy.
whoever was in the box, that was the number one player. So that's who you're going after at that point. So we get the jersey and we playing in a primetime shootout, and he coming in the hotel and we coming in the hotel, and he like, yo, you Melo? Like, you know, you Melo? I'm like, yeah. And we sat on the steps. It was All-Star Weekend in Philly too. So we sat on the steps for hours the night before the game. Like, I don't know nothing about you, dog. You don't know nothing about me. And we sat there for hours just kicking and just talking, man. And we clicked from that moment, you know what I'm saying? We just felt like we had similar backgrounds, you know what I'm saying? You single parent home, broken family, growing up in the hood, you know, that was a similar story. So we connected off of that before basketball.
That's rare you do that. That's rare you, especially with two players being at the top like that. Y'all dug into each other as people.
Absolutely.
Before basketball, so it's easy to understand now y'all relationship. Now.
Yeah, because I was looking for some type of relationship like that with somebody.
Yeah.
And he was looking for that. As well. So we came in each other's lives at the right time. You know what I'm saying? Because we was both looking for, you know, that brotherhood, that brother that we can rely on.
Back to the NBA, we need the Lakers capologist to address our nation's national deficit. Tuesday, the Lakers added Melo to the fold. It's a one-year deal, got to be team-friendly, given their flurry of other moves. Nunn, Monk, Horton, Tucker. Anthony averaged 13.5 in 24 minutes last season, became the 10th all-time leading scorer in NBA history as well. Once all of these moves become official, the Lakers will have 13 players on their roster, 8 of whom are age 32 or older. That puts LA on track to have one of the oldest teams in NBA history. Only 4 teams have had an average age of 32 or older. The Lakers, of course, will hope to follow in the footsteps of the '98 Bulls, who won it all. But between LeBron and Melo and Dwight and Russ, that's 4 of the top 60 scorers in NBA history. Bobby Marks joins us now. So a lot of us are wondering, there's a salary cap here, right? I mean, how are they pulling this off? Explain the money.
Yeah, when we entered free agency, the Lakers had about $130 million, which was $18 million over the $112 million salary cap. So their options were really limited. We called it bargain shopping here. And what they were able to do was they had 3 different options. Talen Horton-Tucker, they signed him today to the early bird exception. They're allowed to exceed the salary cap to do so. He was on the roster for 2 years. And then you look at a player like Kendrick Nunn, who was in Miami. That is the taxpayer mid-level exception. So he got most of that. And then here's all your bargains. Kent Bazemore, Trevor Ariza, Dwight, Carmelo, Malik Monk, Wayne Ellington, all took the veteran minimum exception. And I like what they did today with Malik Monk. You're able to get Kendrick Nunn. You got a little bit younger. You got some shooting to put around the big 3 here. And they still have 3 roster spots. But the most important thing, $34 million luxury tax penalty, the biggest ever in Laker franchise history. So there's a cost associated to this roster.
They'll be writing a lot of checks there. Yeah. And by the way, earlier in the day today, it was the big fella, Marc Gasol, saying, in fact, he would be coming back to the Lakers next season. We've talked a lot about first dominoes falling, right? We've seen quite a few dominoes fall so far, Bobby. Who's left?
Yeah, so I call them the cap space free agents. That's what their label was before free agency started. Those aren't the players who are going to sign for the taxpayer mid-level or even the full mid-level. That's the players like Spencer Dinwiddie, Larry Markkinen, Reggie Jackson, Dennis Schroeder, who was with the Lakers there. And the problem right now is that the market's frozen. There's only about 3 teams that have cap space. You're looking at a team like Charlotte. New York's got a little bit. San Antonio, Oklahoma City. So a player like Dinwiddie trying to arrange a sign and trade to get to Washington. It's complicated because the Nets want compensation back. Right. We saw in the DeMar DeRozan sign and trade. They got a first-round pick, 2 seconds. Devontae Graham to New Orleans. Charlotte got a first-round pick. So you got to have some, you've got to work with the team here. Schroeder is the most interesting one for me Turned down 4 years, $84 million, and is now looking for a new home.
The money hasn't even dried up yet in the NBA. More names finding homes on Tuesday. Steph Curry won't be leaving the Bay Area anytime soon. He agreed to an extension that'll keep him with the Dubs through 2026. First player in the history of the NBA to sign multiple $200 million deals.
It's all relative, right?
Yes.
What's $1 million to Steph Curry?
Meantime, the Lakers stayed busy adding Carmelo Anthony to a veteran-laden roster. They also injected some youth into the backcourt, bringing in Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk. Also retained Talen Horton-Tucker.
Well, the Bulls are bringing in some more star power with DeMar DeRozan. Chicago finalizing a sign and trade for the four-time All-Star. He'll sign a 3-year, $85 million deal with the Bulls. And DeRozan will make it 3 former All-Stars in the Windy City, joining Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. Bulls also spent big on Lonzo Ball. No more excuses for a team that has missed the playoffs 4 straight years. And that's not all. If you buy now, Patty Mills also left San Antonio. He'll sign a 2-year deal with the Nets. The Aussie guard, a career 39% shooter from 3, should boost the big threes supporting cast. Now they got to stay healthy. Adrian Wojnarowski now joins us. He does not have an off season, as you might be aware. Woj, the Lakers roster makeover has been swift. Newcomers nearly everywhere you look, surrounding LeBron and AD. So not just how did LA make this happen, how did they do it so quickly?
Well, free agency moves fast, Steve, and as players, are coming off the board, you've got to be aggressive in there and find the right pieces. And LA certainly, bringing in, a lot of players certainly in this group, who've been in LA before. Yesterday, Trevor Ariza, Dwight Howard, but then Carmelo Anthony today. Obviously, a lot of history with LeBron James. They go back to their teenage years at the old ABCD All-American camp. They certainly played together on Team USA, and they tried to get together at a few different points in their career. It never quite worked out, but it does now. And Carmelo Anthony comes to a Laker team that's going to need its shooting and needs a 4-man on their roster like he is. And so he's become one of the better, catch and shoot 3-point shooters in his later years. This is a top 10 all-time scorer, and this is a really unique group with just tremendous star power now in LA. Obviously, not just Carmelo Anthony, but bringing in Russell Westbrook. This is going to be a really interesting team to follow, and it's going to be a fun ride with them this season.
I don't know if the Lakers were already sold out season ticket-wise, but can you imagine trying to get a Lakers ticket now for next season? That is spectacular work by them in the offseason. I think the Bulls are one of those teams, Woj, that the NBA is better when Chicago is good. I feel like all of a sudden they've gotten a lot better. They had 2 starters in free agency, Lonzo Ball yesterday and DeMar DeRozan today. How'd the Bulls get that last one done?
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan needed a landing spot. There wasn't really salary cap space out there for the kind of deal that he wanted, which ultimately was 3 years, $85 million plus in Chicago. So the sign and trade route. And Chicago, giving up another first-round pick, a couple second-round picks. The Bulls have traded picks in the Nikola Vucevic trade back at the trade deadline. So they've remade their team. They've gone in now with Lonzo Ball, Vucevic, and now DeMar DeRozan with a team that I think Billy Donovan, their head coach, there's going to be expectations of making the postseason. And I think the relationship with Mark Eversley, who's the general manager, works with Arturas Karnisovas, their president. His relationship with DeRozan, going back to their days in Toronto, I believe that was a key factor in helping to sell DeRozan on it. And I think Eversley and Karnisovas' comfort with bringing DeMar DeRozan in and seeing if he can help elevate this team. And Zach LaVine, his future in Chicago. He wants to win, hasn't been in the playoffs yet. They've got to get into the postseason.
Hey, Woj, quickly on the way out here, are there enough chess pieces league-wide? Do we have another 24 hours of fun activity, or this is going to dry up quickly here league-wide?
No, there's still more pieces out there, and I think there's still some more trades possibly on the board. Dennis Schroeder's not found a home yet. That's a player to keep your eye on. Spencer Dinwiddie continues to try to see if he can get a deal done